warm welcome to 6 Stories at 6. I'm Rakshita Mishra with you viewers with the biggest stories of the day. While India continues to fight the terror state, the enemies within the country are also being exposed one by one, layer by layer. We're going to get you exclusive details on the Pak spies in this show. Also, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar has raised questions on the in-house probe on Justice Verma cash scandal. We'll tell you more on that. Now, India is celebrating the heroics of our forces, viewers. The entire world is talking about Operation Sindoor, but the Congress is at it again. The Congress calls it a chut war, trivializing the mega operation, the valor of our forces. We'll tell you the details on that. And while the Congress continues to insult our forces, we at Republic continue to keep our nation and our forces first, because we know that all of you are watching us, that we believe in our forces. You want to watch what our forces are doing and how they conquer the enemy. Republic's ground report from the LOC on the show this evening, viewers, will tell you about the preparedness of our warriors. Bengaluru, meanwhile, viewers, is in a deluge. The Congress is unfazed, undeterred. It is busy celebrating its 2 years in power in Karnataka. Talk of priorities. Also, finally on the show, how Mamata Banerjee is now drawing a Lakshman Rekha for the agitating teachers as she defends her police action. First, we start with the exclusive details that Republic TV viewers has accessed on Youtuber Jyoti Malhotra, the spy YouTuber. She was grilled for third straight day by the NIA and the Intelligence Bureau in connection with her visits to Pakistan for espionage charges. Now, meanwhile, 3 mobiles and a laptop has been recovered from Jyoti's residence. They were sent for forensic analysis. The police suspect that Jyoti deleted some phone chats with Danish and some more Pakistani officials. The Republic, meanwhile, learned that Jyoti would document her experience from her Pakistan visits in a diary, details of which have been accessed by your channel. In fact, Akil Jameel, my colleague, is tracking every detail. He's joining us live in the broadcast from the national capital. Akil, well, there is, of course, incriminating evidence that we understand has been accessed by the agencies after 3 days of interrogation. There have been seizures made of a mobile and a laptop. Chats have been deleted, and a diary entry has also been accessed. Tell us more details, please.
Well, that's right, Rakshita. If you see at this point in time, the physical evidence has already been collected from Jyoti Malhotra's residence in Hisar. So what has happened, what they have found in that diary, the physical diary which the investigative agencies have found from her residence, in that diary, if you just go by the page number 18, 19 and 20, it was very clearly mentioned that Jyoti Malhotra simply lauded Pakistan's effort. And apart from that, she was basically creating a bonhomie, a strong relationship which she was trying to reflect based on the input she was getting from her sources in Pakistan. So basically, if you see, she was in contact with Danish, who was basically suspended, expelled by the Indian government on May 13. So what we have seen that for the past 17 months, Jyoti Malhotra was in constant touch with Danish. Apart from Danish, she was also in touch with other officials, including Ali Rahman. Apart from that, if you see, the third official from the Pakistan she was in touch with was Shahzad as well. So these are 3 key individuals with whom Jyoti Malhotra was in touch, and she was sharing some inputs. So at this point in time, if you just get to know the details from our sources in the intelligence wing and the Hisar police, they are saying that they are basically trying to decode the messages, because if you see, once she got to know that now she's in trouble, the trouble has mounted for her, Jyoti Malhotra deleted all those text messages and the call details. So the CDR details have been recovered by the Hisar police, and it has already been sent to the forensic department. And it takes approximately 48 hours to get the report of the forensic department. So by late evening, we can expect that report to come out. So once those details will come out, then only we'll get to know that what actually transpired at that point in time between Danish and Jyoti Malhotra, and right, what were the basically content in those chats which transpired for a very long time, for approximately 17 months between Jyoti Malhotra and Danish.
Right, Akhil, thanks so much for joining us with those details coming in on that story. Now shift our focus to Jagdeep Dhankar, viewers, who is raising some pertinent questions as far as the judge caste scandal is concerned. After a strong critique of the judicial overreach in a previous address, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar has now questioned the delay in the registration of an FIR in the Justice Verma charged cash recovery case. Now, we'll tell you the questions that have been now, that have been raised by Mr. Dhankar. And if you see, first of all, he has said that incident occurred on the night, of course, this is a fact. He has reported incident occurred on the night of 14th to 15th of March. We can move ahead with the graphics, please. Incident occurred on the night of 14th to 15th of March, a nation of 1.4 billion informed only after 1 week. So that's the question even Republic has been, of course, raising, that why did this was discovered after such a long time, raises serious concerns on the transparency. No matter who he is, he could be the judge. One has to be transparent, and why this news broke so later. Possible pattern of hidden transgressions. So he's talking about the hidden transgressions. Who was shielding who? Why was there, there was not a transparent, probe? Each cover-up weakens trust in the rule of law. There are, of course, questions being raised on judiciary. And also, he says, when there is dharma, there is victory. So he believes in dharma, and he says that there should be a thorough probe, a scientific probe. In fact, he has also said, very importantly, that why in 2 months there has been no FIR. He has also questioned the in-house inquiry, that it's just a waste of time. That is what Jagdeep Dhankar has said. He has cast aspersions on the validity of the ongoing in-house inquiry, remember, by a 3-judge panel in the case recovery case. In fact, my colleague Gopi has spoken to senior Supreme Court advocate Pinky Anand on this. Take a listen in.
Yesterday, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar has said that in-house probe does not have legal sanctity. How do you look at this?
It seems to be a position which is correct, because ultimately, where does it lead you to? See, ultimately, when you have, let us say, criminal investigation under the yesteryear's CRPC and today's BNS, that investigation ultimately counts and will be able to be used in a criminal trial. An in-house committee, which seems to be really in the nature of a fact-finding committee and would have almost no bearing in any proceedings which ultimately go up to any kind of prosecution or possibly even civil. So therefore, when you say in-house committee, what is the purpose it subserves? Is probably something to be considered. I suppose one purpose you could consider it to have, which is to decide whether to go further or not. But the question of what happens in such a case where you have criminal actions happening and you have investigations, so-called investigations, because they are so-called. They are not real investigations under the law. And once they are not real investigations, they can't be utilized in the court of law. Therefore, they can't be utilized towards any active prosecution or conviction, as the case may be, or acquittal, whichever way it may happen. So the point is, you really, it doesn't serve much purpose. But I would go back to, for example, Lalita Kumari's case, where Lalita Kumari, the Supreme Court ultimately held that in certain cases you must have preliminary inquiries. So that kind of purpose is one part. But to say that in-house committee serves any great other purpose possibly is not well founded. And I think Justice Jagdeep Dhankar's statement is very, very appropriate in the circumstances, because 2 months have passed. The committee has come to a finding. It is given a finding which is a scathing finding, whichever way it is. Now what happens with it? We are still awaiting some further outcome to happen and for some other rainy day to come down.
All right, we have Mr. Anil Tiwari, who's the president of the Allahabad High Court Bar Association. Mr. Tiwari, well, you have been at the forefront as far as the protests are concerned in this case. And now we have we have Jagdeep Dhankar, the vice president himself. He has raised many pertinent questions. He has said, who are the bigger sharks? He has raised questions on the inquiry. And not just that, he said it's time to revisit the Veeraswamy versus Union of India case, where there needs to be prior judgment before you try the judges. How do you react to this?
As you are aware, that from the day one, my demand was clarity and transparency, accountability. Dhankar Sahab has rightly said that accountability is the foundation of the democracy. From the day one, what I was demanding, that this man should be prosecuted under the rule of law, under the law which applies to everybody. Now, the in-house inquiry, on the pretext of in-house inquiry, the entire matter was delayed for more than 2 months have already passed. At present, my concern is that now Supreme Court has forwarded the report to the government. But government is duty bound. At least we expect from the government that report should come on the public domain. Why government is not making it public? Government is sitting with the report. The report is now lying with the government. Government should also come forward and publish the report in the public domain. First. Secondly, so far the FIR is concerned. Now he has been asked to step down. He refused. Then what is the hurdle in granting permission to lodge the FIR? At least the FIR should be lodged. He should be prosecuted. This matter should be investigated. I'm not saying that Verma is guilty. But at least investigation should be carried on. Investigation is required to decipher as to who has brought this money, whose money was this, who has stolen that money, where the evidence has gone. At least people are entitled to know this fact.
Right.
My concern is that India is a democratic country. The power lies with the will of people. Will of people makes the government, will of people is the legislature, will of people is the judiciary also, because the power of judiciary lies in public trust. And once the public trust has gone, the judiciary will lose its power. Entire power will go. Nobody will go to judiciary. They will go to mafia courts.
Right,
so
sir.
This is the time when Supreme Court itself has to come forward and say, look here, this is the report, and now we are permitting the FIR should be lodged against Justice Verma.
Right.
Dhankar Saab is right, very right in making this statement. You see, what is the impact of this statement? This statement is now a talk of town at every corner, at tea stall, at every sphere of public. Whether public, what the public is thinking.
Yes, sir. Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Tiwari, for joining us on Republic TV and putting forth your views as boldly as always. Now we shift our focus to another big controversy that's brewing, viewers. Congress once again on the forefront with its love for Pakistan and doubting the forces, insulting the forces. It's Congress National President Mallikarjun Kharge now has trivialized Operation Sindoor, calling it a chut-put war. Amid the massive row around the Congress' grave charges against External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar of forewarning Pakistan on Operation Sindoor, Kharge now has again claimed that Prime Minister Modi had prior knowledge of the Pahalgam terror attack. Take a listen in to what Mallikarjun Kharge said, how he has insulted our armed forces.
Modi avaro 17ನೇ ತಾರೀಕು ಕಾಶ್ಮೀರಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗೋರಿದ್ರು. ಆದ್ರೆ 17ನೇ ತಾರೀಕು ಕಾಶ್ಮೀರಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಹೋಗಬೇಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅವರ ಬೆವುಗಾರಿಕೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಇಂಟೆಲಿಜೆನ್ಸ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ನೀವು ಹೋಗಬೇಡಿ, ಪಾಕಿಸ್ತಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಕಾಶ್ಮೀರನಲ್ಲಿ ಗಲಾಟೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ನೀವು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಮಾಡಿಸಿದ್ರು. ಇದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ದಾಗ 17ನೇ ತಾರೀಕು ನೀವು ಕಾಶ್ಮೀರಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮನ್ನ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ನೀವು ಯಾಕೆ ಈ ಟೂರಿಸ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಪೊಲೀಸರ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳಲಿಲ್ಲ? ನೀವು ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತೊಂದರೆ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಮಾತು ನೀವು ಹೇಳಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ 26 ಪ್ರಾಣಗಳನ್ನ ಉಳಿತೀವು ಮತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಈಗೇನು ನಾವು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಚುಟ್ಪುಟ್ಟು ಯುದ್ಧಗಳು ನಡೆದಿವೆ ಅಥವಾ ನಮ್ಮ ಪಾಕಿಸ್ತಾನ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ನಾವೇನು ಘರ್ಷಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ, ಪಾಕಿಸ್ತಾನ ಕೆಲಸ ಅಂತೂ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಬರೇ
Now, you can see how that Congress continues to doubt the forces, insult the forces, but Republic TV continues to show you, viewers, how they continue to, in fact, send ripples and send shivers down the spine of the enemies. From patrolling the line of control to pounding the enemy, the Indian Army on the front lines has shown that even the toughest terrain bows before them. Bringing you a report from Tangdhar, the LOC village. The message from the difficult forward post, viewers, is very clear that India watches, India waits, and when needed, it hammers with unmatched force. In fact, viewers, today, Brigadier Mudit Mahajan, commander of Poonch Brigade, has reiterated that Operation Sindoor is not over. It is only suspended for the time being. It is a warning to Pakistan, viewers. Here's the report from Ground Zero.
We are reporting from one of the most challenging forward posts of the Indian Army in the Tangdhar sector. Here, danger isn't distant, it's within earshot. This border outpost, located just meters from the land of control, is the Army's first shield against infiltration and provocation. Day and night, Jawans patrol this treacherous terrain along the fencing. Rain, snow or shell fire, nothing deters their vigilance. These soldiers form the first line of resistance, constantly scanning for any movement from the enemy side. Every step along this border is patrolled with caution, discipline and unmatched commitment.
How was it on the 6th and 7th intervening night?
We were waiting for the action, we were ready, and as you asked earlier that whether we were prepared or not. So in Army it's a regular drill, we can go there. In Army it's a regular drill wherein we practice, we train hard for the battle, and we were fully ready, and we neutralized all the hostile aircrafts, enemy aerial platforms which were ingressing through this way.
High above, from the topmost observation post in the Tangdhar Ridge, Indian forces fixed targets with precision. Just 400 meters away, terror camps were identified and destroyed. From this vantage point, the Army could track, target and neutralize threats before they even crossed the fence. The fog of the mountains did not cloud their vision, it sharpened it. Back in the bunker, where the shelling from the other side was heaviest, Jawan showed us how they held the ground.
Operation Sindoor is not over. It only remains suspended for the time being. And therefore, the Indian Army remains alert, ready, and if challenged again, we will respond yet again, not with words, but with fire and resolve of the nation.
With incoming fire from across POK, our Jawans stayed calm, coordinated and covered. These bunkers weren't just shelters, they were strongholds and shields. Each Jawan here not only fought back, but ensured the safety of his brothers in arms.
Right now, this is one of the bunkers which I'm showing here because this is the topmost and the toughest location of the forward post. This is the post from where Muzaffarabad is just 400 meters. So we are right now almost 11,000 feet above the ground, and the Pakistan fence could clearly be seen from here. The POK range could clearly be seen from here. The bunkers which the army have constructed for themselves look like this because it's the topmost position. There was heavy shelling of mortar and artillery from the side of Pakistan.
Then came the retaliation. From the mortar drills to the actual offensive, this was no random firing. It was targeted, timed and fierce. Jawans launched mortar fire on enemy positions, followed by a resounding war cry that echoed through the valley. It wasn't just a shout, it was a roar of courage, unity and triumph.
इस वक्त जो तस्वीरों में नजर आ रहा है ये हमारे जवानों की पोजीशन है जो कि पीओके से जिस तरह से हमारे द्वारा लॉन्च के टेरर पैड्स को जब पूरे ध्वस्त किया गया उसके बाद जो पीओके से उनकी तरफ से जो मोटार शेलिंग
Beating retreat ceremony at the Attari-Wagah border resuming after days now. After a 12-day pause, the beating retreat ceremony has resumed at, in fact, 3 Punjab border locations. And this is, of course, this was halted previously amid the rising tensions between India and Pakistan. And now we have the resumption of the ceremony. And this is the latest update we are getting in right now. And in fact, the BSF chose to restart the flag lowering ceremony for the public at 3 locations. However, what we understand is that the media persons were allowed today. And those are the live visuals coming in before the sunset. That happens traditionally. After 12-day pause, the beating retreat ceremony at the Attari-Wagah border has resumed now. The BSF on the 8th of May had stopped public entry for the beating retreat ceremony at 3 locations, Attari border, Hossainiwala border and Sadki, in view of public safety. That's the update we are getting in right now. And amid the detentions and Operation Sindoor, the ceremony was paused. All right, shifting focus to Bengaluru, viewers. Now, Bengaluru and monsoon misery has become synonymous. And every year when it rains, it exposes the civic apathy under the Congress rule and the Congress government now, viewers. This year as well, even before the monsoon arrives, the story has not really changed for Bengaluru. It has only worsened. Roads have been swallowed by the rains. Dangling wires continue to threaten people. The people have been killed. They have been electrocuted. Houses have been submerged. But guess what the Congress is doing, viewers? The Congress is busy celebrating its 2 years in power in Karnataka. That is shocking, but that is the truth, viewers. There you have visuals how Bengaluru is submerged, and there you have the Congress High Command enjoying and celebrating the 2 years. Now we have S. Prakash of the BJP joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Prakash, well, we are wondering what the priorities of the government are, the Congress government is, because we see that people are dying, and even before monsoon begins, this is the state of affairs in Bengaluru while the Congress party is busy celebrating 2 years. What are they celebrating? Mr. Prakash, can you hear me? Are you getting my audio, sir? All right, we'll try and connect with S. Prakash, but remember, viewers, 3 people have died. BBMP is busy passing the buck, and civic apathy on full display as Congress leaders continue to celebrate their 2 years in power, while the common man in a metro city like Bengaluru is suffering. You have the visuals, they say it all. All right, viewers, now we shift our focus to other stories that we're tracking. We shift focus to now West Bengal, where Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee is finally breaking the silence on the brutal security crackdown on the sacked primary school teachers. Mamata Banerjee has defended her police in a veiled warning now to the sacked teachers who have been on the streets demanding their jobs back. Mamata Banerjee says that there is a Lakshman Rekha that the protesters should respect. Here's a report.
Days after the police unleashed a brutal crackdown on sacked Bengal teachers, Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee finally broke her silence. The Chief Minister came out in defense of the police action and the disproportionate use of force on unarmed protesters. The sacked primary school teachers tried to storm Bikash Bhavan, the headquarters of the State Education Department, demanding the jobs back. However, they ran into a stout security wall as the heavy police contingent deployed at the scene launched a lathi charge on them. Several protesting teachers were injured in the melee. The teachers have been up in arms against the Mamata government after the Supreme Court upheld the Calcutta High Court order cancelling the jobs in connection with the SSC recruitment scam. Speaking to reporters in Kolkata, the Chief Minister said while she was not against protests, there is a clear Lakshman Rekha that the protesters need to respect.
মানবিকতাকে শ্রদ্ধা করলে তাকে ভালোবাসা যায়, তাকে সম্মান করা যায়। আমি আন্দোলনের বিপক্ষে নই, কিন্তু আন্দোলন করারও একটা লক্ষ্মণ রেখা আছে। আমার যেমন অধিকার নেই কাউকে বাধা দেওয়ার, অন্যেরও অধিকার নেই আমাকে বাধা দেওয়ার।
Addressing a press conference earlier, Javed Shamim, ADG Law and Order, Kolkata Police, claimed that the police was forced to launch a lathi charge after the protesting teachers ignored repeated warnings to stand down. As the pressure mounts on Mamata to reinstate the sacked teachers, muzzling of dissent appears to be the only recourse left for her.
And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of 6 Stories at 6. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the more breaking updates at 6:30. Don't go anywhere.